I don't know which one to use. Here we go.
I need y'all to stop saying this baby's name wrong. It's not Philly cheesesteak. It's clearly filet Chizé.
By the way,
And
Jared.
Kyle's awake.
By the way, Jared. I saw that you gave that homework. I thought about doing it. I forgot about it.
Just gonna talk over the introduction. That's how we do this. Yeah.
Yep.
I bet he doesn't have your sound on.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. I'm trying to be professional. I share my audio. I share my screen. I wait 5 minutes for you. And I'm like, all right, I don't know which one to use. Here we go. Let's use this one. And then just, nope, Kyle's just going to talk over the intro. That's cool.
Exactly.
I liked it better when you were just, you were like a child. You just sat there. You were like women back in the day. Better seen and not heard.
Jesus.
I'm out.
All right. I'm gonna talk over everyone this episode. I'm gonna not stop talking and just say when I don't have anything to say.
So it's gonna be a background track of Kyle.
Exactly.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So you didn't do any of the homework that I handed out to you? None of it?
No, I definitely saw it, and I was like, okay, I'll do that this one day. And then I went to bed and forgot to do it, which is how most of my high school homework is done.
Hang on.
Yes,
though.
David?
It's not really homework. It's here's some topics I want to talk about.
Yeah. I mean, there was only one topic. The Game Ranks 10 Weird Gaming Stories of January. Like, that was the only thing that you had to watch, and it was a 10-minute episode at most.
Yeah, you can even be lazy like me and just like click through like the time signatures to like see what entry is and not actually listen to what he has to say about it.
Well, that's the problem, Jake, is the fact that I saw it and then I just forgot to do it.
I didn't watch the video, but it's because I had to watch 2 3-hour fucking movies in between my already very busy schedule and a decent hour and a half movie.
You don't get to plug your movie like that for File Entertainment.
I was only talking about the time limit, Jared. I didn't say anything else.
Mm-hmm. It's just
3 hours is too long.
Too long.
That's like that Symphony X song that I wanted to talk about, that nobody wanted to talk about, just because it was, quote, too long.
No, I found a new anime I like. It has 5 episodes out already.
Is he a part of the podcast that we're on?
Nope.
Is he with us? Fine, Kyle, let's talk about what you want to talk about.
Dude,
What anime?
Welcome to Living with Kyle. This is what it's like constantly.
Look, you guys don't respond to me, and I'll be like, okay, I'll just go back to my room. Usually.
What anime did you find, Kyle?
It's called Starting Your Journey as an Adventurer, Picking Up Trash.
Yeah? Tell us about it.
The fuck? That's not a title. That's a description.
That's welcome to modern anime titles.
No,
I hate
That's
it.
the worst.
Japanese anime now. It's not one word things. It's fucking sentences.
That's the worst. I hate it.
What is the title again?
The start of my journey as an adventurer, picking up trash.
What is it about?
It's about an 8-year-old child abandoned by everyone in the village, and she finds her way through the world.
Oh, and of course, it's a female protagonist, and she's a sanitation worker. Some bullshit.
And let me guess, she looks like she's 25, right?
No, she looks like she's 8 years old.
How does she survive?
I don't like that. I know what anime fans do.
So she goes through like village dumping sites to gather resources and stuff like that, and moves on to the next village until she gets to so far at a city, and she makes work by trapping rats and dissecting them and selling the meat.
What year is this set in, Kyle?
Medieval.
Medieval. That's a great year.
That's the best I could describe it.
I understand what you're meaning. It's just it's a funny response to what year? Medieval. Okay.
Kyle, why do you like this anime, bud? What sparks your
Wait,
interest
is this
in
a therapy session now? Or?
Because in comparison to what a lot of like isekai or even just telling of stories from like that time period, it's a different take, a completely different take than what's actually out.
Why am I on this podcast? Fucking hate me.
Shut up, Donnie.
Ugh.
You know
I
what,
hate
Kyle?
you.
Fuck it, send it to me. I'll give it a watch. I'll see. I've got newfound minutes of time available. We'll watch it. I can click through it, see if it appeases me.
Okay.
Why not, buddy? Anything else Kyle would like to talk about? Anything else in Kyle's docket that he wants to have a conversation about?
Why is my poop green?
Or can the intern have his show back?
I don't even know what's happening now, but I hate it.
We're good. All right. Anyways, I think I found out what the definition of a golden retriever boy is.
Yeah.
Upper right or left hand corner, depending upon how you're viewing the screen right now.
A little bit.
Well, see, Jake gets it. Jake gets it. I don't know how
Little
to
bit,
transition, dude. I don't know how to transition out of that. There's no smooth transition to that.
You announce that you've been Kyled, you accept that you've been Kyled, and you move the fuck on from it.
I
This is our
have-
life.
What is that? I declare being Kyled.
Yep, you have to declare it. That's right.
I
Yep.
declare being Kyled. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know why I want to feel about it, but we're gonna move the fuck on. I don't like the way I feel. So I was watching a TikTok recently, and this lady was talking about her blue collar boys and her golden retriever boys. I don't know what the fuck like. I know what a blue collar boy is, right? I know what that is, but what is a golden retriever boy?
I mean, that's pretty obvious.
Yeah, kind of like a naive, wholesome guy is kind of usually what people mean by like golden retriever boy. Like,
Yeah, somewhat clingy, but in like a cute, endearing way is generally
Yeah.
also part of it. Yeah.
yeah, and kind of dumb.
Yep. Yeah.
It's like kind of a compliment, but also kind of an insult.
Yes. Golden Retriever boys are boys who treat women well, but aren't exactly intellectual giants, nor do they really offer anything in that field to the relationship. They're just there to get their affection and make the female feel good.
Enough, Helios. Thank you.
No, Helios is a bird.
He's giggling like a lunatic in the background, and yeah. Anyways, I mean that kind of makes sense.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. I thought there was more to it. I didn't know there was just.
I was gonna say that you're kind of a golden retriever boy.
I fucking wait. What?
You kind of are, buddy, and it's not a bad thing.
What?
I don't mean it in a bad sense, but you're like the way that you act when you're in a relationship is very golden retriever boy energy.
A little bit.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
take that. I'll take that.
Yeah, it's not an insult. I really don't mean it, because to me personally, I think a certain element of that has to be there for a good relationship. So just not quite to the fucking social media TikTok level of it.
It's like the trad wife thing. I didn't understand that, and I had to watch a whole 20-minute video on it. And then at the end,
God.
dude, it was interesting because she's just like, yeah, it's traditional wives, and I didn't understand that. I thought it was weird that people
Yeah.
had a whole shit fit over that, and it's just cool. Live your life the way you want to live it. That's fine. Not a
Yeah.
big deal.
Oh, dude, people go ape shit when they hear things like, "Oh yeah, my wife made my dinner for me," or it's like, "I'm not incapable of cooking, you cuck. She just likes to do things for me. I don't even ask or expect them. Like, fuck off." But oh yeah, no, there's this sort of like there's a renewed level of like social media feminism that is very annoying with Gen Z.
Well, and I mean, a part of that is like a reaction to the trad wife thing, which is like not always, but like connected to like the conservative, like anti-feminist thing.
Right, I get that. I
So
get that.
it's the backlash of the two things like further moving things apart, as we
yeah,
like to do in America right now.
right. I just hate it. Like, oh my, a healthy relationship. Let's try to attack it because we don't like it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It just irritates me because logic is not that hard.
See, this you remember how we were talking about conservative and liberalism and how I don't understand the definitions of that? What is the anti-feminist like? What?
That's what it sounds like. It's like the conservative strain of like feminism is bad. We need to go back to like traditional gender roles.
There are people who are very anti sort of allowing women to, at this point exist. And those people are fucking assholes, and I hate them. Uh, Probably more than the annoying Gen Z, like, oh, your wife cooked for you, so you're a fucking pig people. But
Yeah,
just barely.
one is annoying, one is like actively destructive.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so it's not the joking. Oh, your wife cooked for you. How you must suck or whatever. No, it's the okay. I got they genuinely actually mean it. Okay, no,
Yeah,
So-
like the straight up like woman shouldn't be allowed to go to college because then they won't be as good of a wife. Straight up
Yeah,
conservatism.
like bringing back the 1950s instructional manuals on how to be a good wife and make sure he can prop up his feet when he gets home and keep the children as quiet as possible and da 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 da. And it's like, holy fuck.
yeah. I read that. It's like a little snippet in the magazine of like how to make your husband happen when he comes home, and I was like, yeah, no, none of that. Like, just talk to me as soon as I enter the door. Tell me about your day. Tell me how you
Right?
were. I
Oh,
want to
dude, straight up.
I want to fucking escape whatever I just came from and hear about you.
Right, because your partner should be exactly that. Your partner. Not only should you share the load, but also like if you can't enjoy this person's presence and company and thoughts, like don't fucking be in a relationship because you don't deserve one.
See, I
Yeah.
don't know about the don't deserve one, but not be in a relationship with that person.
I don't know. If you can't if you're not mature enough to treat the other person like a fucking person, you don't deserve to
Oh,
be in that relationship. Like fuck you.
oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay, words are hard sometimes.
that's fair.
Kyle, do you have anything you would like to add, sir?
Well, I could add something, but I guess I think I've used up all the words allotted for me for this episode.
Oh my god, Kyle.
And that's your counter. You can go back to bed. Bye.
Okay.
Dude, you can talk,
Jesus.
dude. You know you can.
Well, I mean, because I didn't do any actual research into Golden Retriever Boy, what I first thought of was a old ass anime when I read it, just Golden Retriever Boy called Golden Boy, who's basically what is you guys described as.
Yeah, I'm sure, but also I hate that you can tie it to anime. This is my nightmare.
Of course he can, David.
Yeah, Kyle. What about the anime, buddy?
It came out in '95, and it's just about a Japanese man traveling across Japan, helping people out in various different ways, but looking for a relationship, but never achieving one.
Well, that's just forever alone.
Yeah.
That's what we call a simp, Kyle.
But he's what's funny is usually because the guy has such a disconnect from society, he doesn't realize if he had settled down in several different places, he could have had a relationship.
So he'd find a woman, meet up with her, get intertwined with it, and then because he wanted to continue traveling Japan, that she was like, I don't want a long distance partner.
No, because he has such a doesn't understand social connections. he
Oh, so
misinterprets
he's an autistic simp.
Yeah, he misinterprets certain interactions as that person hates me now. Fuck, I need to get out of here. And it's literally the person trying to actually establish connections with the person.
How do you establish
the-
affection as this person hates me now?
It's how you misread social cues.
I'm assuming they're doing like the anime like thing of like her showing him affection is her being like, go away.
Oh, the hard to get 12. Okay, yeah, no,
What?
the middle school
I'm guessing.
bullshit.
I have I've never heard of this fucking anime Kyle's talking about. I'm just guessing because it's an anime.
Like-
that it does all the usual anime tropes.
Like in David's favorite manga, Love Hina, when the
Yeah.
main girl would slap him and call him an asshole and tell him to run away, and then he'd run away. Secretly, she'd be like, "Oh, why doesn't he stay?"
Exactly.
I mean, David, you can relate to that. You love that manga, don't you, bud?
Should I just leave now? Like, fuck you. I hope you get eaten by a lion wearing a really weird contraption.
That's stop.
It's a very specific insult. You're welcome.
Yeah, I don't know why you would give that insult. It doesn't
It's for Eric, mostly.
like Eric even listens to this podcast anymore. Come on now.
I mean, he does now that I'm on it.
Wow.
I hate everything about that statement and you.
I know.
I can't leave because I'm recording. So
Right?
you know. All right, man. I
Do
guess.
you want Kyle to talk about another anime from the 90s for 20 minutes?
Yeah, Kyle. How
we
can
not?
that relate?
Can we not?
It's fucking so dumb. Oh my god. Oh my god. Now I have to ask because I know this was brought up in Gamer Ranks, so I'm just gonna switch gears here randomly.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
They were talking about a controller that like can read your next moves with AI to do a lot of the combos that are in like Tekken and shit like that. The nightmares that is AI are coming to fruition, like with the Taylor Swift kind of thing, as well too as like what was it? There was a guy who made a video who altered a video of Biden doing something fucky, and they're like, well, I mean, technically it's not a pure iteration, but AI went from this small nothingness to just this massive thing that we can use. What I guess, what are your takes on the nightmare that AI is becoming and the scary stories but positives that are coming from it now?
I think AI is a tool, so like any tool, you can use it properly or you can use it inappropriately. I think there's definitely needs to be. I mean, society's always going to take things to the highest, darkest level in some corner of the internet, but I think with some proper application and maybe a little bit of like regulation on how these tools are released to the public, I think AI could be a good thing.
How do you?
Yeah. There is like I actually like read just unconnected this like two different articles about AI, like one very positive, one very negative this week. But the positive is like it's super useful for things like advanced prosthetic limbs.
Yep.
Like that they have like a arm now that like both is 80% as functional as like a biological arm as far as like
Nice.
motor function and stuff. It like directly connects to the nervous system, so it's like controlled like through the brain. You think about moving the finger and the finger moves. And it like even restores like some degree of feeling. And like the big thing that like was missing that they needed to like make it work was it's like connected with a like AI system.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
We have cyborgs.
Yes.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, which is a good thing.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Cyberpunk is becoming more real.
So like that kind of thing, I think, yes, obviously like that is good use for AI. That's using it properly. The bad thing I saw, which connects more to like the stuff that's available to everyone side of AI, is I was reading up on because like when like Chat GPT and stuff first was coming out, there was like all that concern from educators about like this is going to destroy education because kids are just going to use it to cheat. and they won't actually learn anything. Which is happening. The issue is that AI still is terrible. So kids are using it to cheat, but they're like flunking out because they're doing that because AI is like just getting everything wrong. Like even like basic math, it like really struggles to do. It's like not nearly as advanced as people thought. So like teachers have to like take kids aside and be like, okay, like I know you're using AI to do this. The AI is wrong. I'm like happy to show them like this is the steps that like the AI messed up. Like this is math. Like there's a wrong answer and a correct answer. It's giving you the wrong answer. Like this isn't like this isn't working as cheating even. Like you're getting an F, not because like you're not turning things in, but because it just isn't right.
We had a couple guys who recently put in their resignation letters at my job, and the more you looked into the resignation letter, you're like, this was written by ChatGPT. Like, I know this person does not speak that way. Like, I'm not trying to say that they were dumb or that they weren't on that level, but you're just like, there's no way that this person says or speaks in this direction, and it's kind of amazing to watch it transform to go. You're writing something, and it can take your writing and then elevate it just a little bit more, but it's too good. Like to Jake's point, it just doesn't do things correctly. It just elevates it so much that you're like, that's not Jared. That's not Jared at all.
Well, no. So like, I get what you're saying because I've gotten that type of stuff from employees before, and there's lots of templates out there for like resignation letters, for requests for raises, promotions, transfers, etc. You can find those templates, and it has a lot of that information in it. But no, like GPT is just straight up getting things wrong. Like you could plug in, generally it's more complicated stuff than this, but you can plug in like 1 + 1, which we all know or should know equals 2, and they'll be like, it's 3.
Well, I mean, in
And
the
kids
game
will
of
put
life,
that on their.
in the game of life, 1 + 1 = 1, sometimes 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8.
I'm gonna stab him. But anyways,
Yeah, but 2 + 2 = fish.
See, that's the kind of thing an AI will say, though.
yeah,
Because it just like the problem with like the current AI technology is that it can't put value on whether something is true or not. Which like math is where that's like very evident because it just doesn't understand the difference between a correct answer and an incorrect answer. It just tries to get to an answer. But it's that way with everything. It kind of just takes all of the information that's been fed into it, goes, this is a piece of information that's in my database that relates to this other word. I'm going to put it in there. Whether it makes sense or not, whether it's correct or not. It's just not as smart as people kind of thought it was as it was being released. And it also has a problem of the more people use it, the dumber it gets for like a multitude of reasons. Like apparently that's just a thing that AI does, is like it degrades. But then on top of that, it has like information to public information.
Yep.
And people make it dumber by like inserting incorrect information.
Yeah, it's the whole thing of people make AI dumber, which has been a thing that we've had for a long time. Dude, I would love and I know this won't mean anything to half of you, but you remember our buddy Nick, right? Jake?
Yeah.
Dude, I would love to sit and have a conversation about this now with him since he's been at UW doing the AI program and shit.
UW, like University of Wisconsin?
No, University of Wyoming.
Oh.
But yeah, like that kid's super smart anyways, and then he's been working on an AI program at our university. But it's interesting because like it does seem to be like a recurring thing that basically humans make AI dumb.
Well, I mean, look at the vast majority of our population, right? Like one of the amazing things was the ASVAB would score you based off of everybody else, and I was like, I think I scored like a 70, and I was like, how? I am not the brightest kid. I failed with D's and C's, and like, yeah, you're pretty smart compared to the rest of your peers. But you have people that use things like with how Kyle and I were talking with pure sarcasm that's dripping with sarcasm. AI doesn't know that. They're just like, oh, a bunch of people are like, yeah, 1 + 1 does = 1 in the game of life, but it just sees 1 + 1 = 1, and it can just interject it in there.
Well, and there's also trolls. So
Right.
like there's actually
Don't do that.
something
Don't do that.
kind of related but separately. There's God, I can't remember the name of the site. My wife and I were just talking about it though, but it was one that was like very commonly recommended for like college students and stuff to go use to try to like I think it's Quizly or something like that. But it
Mhm.
was recommended a lot back in the day for people to go and basically do like practice quizzes on subjects like math and other shit like that so that they could try to learn the subject better,
Mhm.
so they had a better chance of passing their tests. um but what was happening is people were going in and creating troll quizzes and troll answers in order to mess with people. And so you would take this test and study, and you would learn incorrect answers because
Mm.
there's no clue that what you're working on is wrong. And there's a lot of stuff like that where people deliberately enter false information to websites and shit in order to fuck with AI.
That. Why does that not surprise me though?
Because you've met people.
Yeah. I mean, David, if you want to have your buddy come on, he's more than welcome to join the conversation at any time, and I'd
Trust
love
me,
to.
if I could get a hold of him, I would. I've lost his number now, unfortunately.
If you know what university he attends, just let me know offline, and I'll go talk to him. I'll stalk him. I'll stalk my prey.
I'll stalk him, he says. I have his I have his contact information other than his phone number. I could probably get a hold of him.
I, Kyle, because I know you play a lot of different variety of games. One of the things in Game Ranks was that they were talking about how AI can help learn your next moves or help out with combos. How do you think it's going to affect gaming in general when they implement it into a controller that can help kind of predict or choose the next move for you to help better your gaming? How do you think that's going to affect the gaming industry?
It it's I don't know. It probably allow a lot of like was it like old teching and stuff for that, a lot more cheating. I would classify that as, because it's not the actual person's ability performing those moves. Uh Newer games might actually implement it and assist like more adaptive like difficulties for maps rather than actually changing the difficulty. But it'll also cause what David usually gets pissed off about is, I didn't push that button.
Yeah, do what I tell you to. I hate, dude, fucking we have fucking input lag and all kinds of shit already in gaming. Dude, the controllers half the time can't keep up with me, and I'm not like high tier competitive, so the
But
idea
yeah,
of adding AI makes me even more
that's
leery.
kind of where I think it will fall into. And if they implement it, okay, sure, we can play around with it. But at the same time, I think you should at least give people the option of turning it off, because there's a lot of gamers out there that just prefer to be able to do test the limits of their abilities with no assists.
I I think also it probably will get banned eventually. Like I don't know if you guys just saw the stuff with the Cronus Zen,
What
but
happened with them?
oh, Sony completely, like, you can't use it on PlayStation 5 anymore.
Uh, for those of us who are not in the know.
Oh, you don't know? Oh, the Cronus Zen is a add-on to the controller that essentially uh i- it basically it gives you aim assist, like,
Okay.
but like super aim assist. It's like cheating.
Okay.
It's technically not a hack, but it's one of those things that a lot of like competitive console players were using, and Sony finally acknowledged the fact that it does in fact give them a massive advantage, and that it counts as cheating in their book now too, and they completely removed it, so they don't work with the PS5 anymore.
Nice. I think one part of the gaming industry that it's going to work exceptionally well with, you know, those modified controllers for people with disabilities. I think that
Mhm.
is a place that it could 100% improve. I remember this dad like with Xbox, and I always commend Xbox for this every chance I get. Their open source controller mapping that they had, where this dad was actually able to build a controller for his daughter to play Breath of the Wild, like it would be really cool to see how it could help somebody like that improve greatly at the game to where they could play it at such a high level that you don't have to play it on easy and you can feel like you're part of the world and game and stuff like that. And that's why I've always committed Sony to be open like that. But yeah, it's just those Street Fighter games where you watch people do it on their own now. Just imagine how much fucking faster they're gonna be and how it's now you take two chess computers and see what they can do. I feel like that's where it's gonna get to.
Yeah.
I think you'll probably get banned pretty damn quickly with like older high tournament games. Bleh.
Tournament.
Yeah, especially like Tekken, Tetris, all those. IA is probably going to be banned from those.
Tournament. I like that word. I'm gonna write it down. Tournament.
You're the worst.
Tournament. I'm gonna use that in the title somehow.
Okay.
Oh my
Excellent.
God.
Yeah.
What?
Ignore them, Kyle.
Well, it's good. I'm not being mean to Kyle. I like it. It's a good word. Tournament.
Let's see where.
I'm being mean to Kyle.
See what other places could gaming AI be. I think
Gaming's a weird one because gaming already uses a lot of AI.
Mhm.
I mean,
And it kind of has for a long time.
I kind of think it would be more interesting in like a lot of games for like just enemy AI improvements for a lot.
Exactly. Like,
but again, if it's just controller AI, I think a lot of games it's going to a lot of places it'll improve. Again with like disabilities, but again, if it comes down to competition or stuff like that, it'll probably get banned.
Wasn't Mad Catz controllers banned because of the way that they operate as well too in some of the gaming spheres with tournaments? Or am I thinking of a different controller that was said no to?
It was I think it was Mad Catz that had the like turbo, because it was the old like turbo controllers.
Yeah.
yeah.
It has
Yeah.
a turbo button. I don't know what it does, but it says turbo.
I've always what did the turbo button actually do?
It essentially button mashed for you.
So like
Yes.
if I was
Just
like if I hit
basically
A
double
with the
click.
turbo on it'd be like I press A over and over and over again.
So it depends
Yes.
on the turbo because there were a couple different types out. But yes, most of them were like that. There were also ones where you'd hold it down and then so you didn't have to do the little, like tapping method.
Yeah.
Or like the rolling with the pen cap or any of that, because it would just as long as you held it down, it would treat it like you were just spam tapping it.
Makes sense.
So there were a couple different kinds.
What is
I
one?
never noticed that shit. I just pushed turbo because it was funny. It's the turbo.
Oh, Kyle.
And I just play the game. I never read into it that much. I was also a kid, so it was just funny.
I love the way that you think, Kyle, because I feel like it's a lot like I think. So let's flip the switch. Yeah, turbo. It's gonna make me It's gonna make me better. No worries on that whatsoever.
No, see, you did it to consciously be better. Kyle did it because it said the word turbo, and he likes turbo because turbo go fast. Vroom, vroom, fast. Let's go. That's Kyle's thinking.
Yeah, it's it's basically a lot of what my internal jokes for me are. I think I've even heard my mom, my sister say, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I would be I've pushed the word turbo, and I was just giggling to myself. That's it.
Uh-huh.
It's like silence with children. You're like, there's something going on. I don't know what, but something.
Yeah, generally.
Kyle's himself.
I have a great time. I don't know why you guys whine about it so much.
Because we try to understand it sometimes, Kyle. And that doesn't work.
It does not, yeah.
I'm curious, where do you guys think AI should not be implemented in? What is an industry that AI probably shouldn't be implemented in because we as society will take it from the best of the best and then just also go to the other side of the world where it's the worst of the worst?
Oh,
Where
well,
do you
that's
think
already happening. Porn.
well, besides that industry?
I mean, I'm pretty opposed to the AI art thing. I think it's weird. Like people like using it for like casual stuff is whatever. But, like trying to replace artists with it feels so slimy and shitty. Just because like it. I hate that like we're trying to use it to replace the jobs that people actually want to do and like.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I've
Feels
tried
like extra shitty.
I've tried the Bing dot create, where you try to create your own art, and like it's difficult though sometimes to get it to create exactly what you're looking for. It really is. But when they get it spot on, it is spot on correct, but it does take like 5 hours, and I should have just been like, "Hey, artist man, create me this," and then go. That's the only thing,
Yes, but
and
that costs money.
that's why I think it's because we
Yeah.
don't have the discretionary income we would like to have to create to get people to create the things that we want.
Yes, but a lot of to Jake's point, your mega corporations and you know, uh, movie conglomerates and shit like that, like they do, but they're still trying to replace with AI.
Yeah, because even if it doesn't look as good, it's cheaper. Like so much exponentially cheaper that they're not going to care.
Yeah.
True.
And there's the whole ethical thing of like AI by like very nature of how it works, it is like stealing assets. Like
Yes.
that's just how it works. That's what it does.
Yeah, I did create one photo. I was like, ooh, I know exactly where that was stolen from. 110%.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, artists have done it where they're like, this is like literally the exact this is my drawing but recolored. Like it's sometimes it can be super blatant sometimes.
Well,
Like usually it's like a mix of like different
Mhm.
images, but every once in a while the AI will just be like, "Oh, I found the perfect thing that this person's asking for. Here you go." And then it goes up on Twitter, and like a couple months later, someone's like, "Wait, I fucking drew this. What do you mean AI made this? I have the picture here. It was published."
Well, Jake, you know the Saiyan tattoo that I got on my arm? I
Hmm.
know. So like, I think it was like a year before I got this tattoo. I saw this like angel girl that was drawn up in the exact same pose, right? And when I told the artist I wanted, I gave him what I wanted. He pulled up. I was like, he ripped that straight from that photo and just put Saiyan armor on her. That was like it. Changed the hair a little bit, gave her green eyes, and then just slapped some Saiyan armor on her. I was like, wow,
That's
that's
so slimy.
yeah. I was like, all right. I mean, I get it, but all right, man. He's like, yeah, I drew this up. I thought this would be what you wanted. I was like, I know who you jacked that photo from, but I like how you altered it, so let's tattoo it. So I may or may not be a walking billboard for it.
Yeah, but even that is a little different. Like, there's a difference between being derivative and like directly taking, because like when a human does that, there's going to be differences in style. Like even if they're like directly trying to replicate it.
Mm-hmm. So
Unless they're like tracing, which like happens in like comics sometimes, and it'll cause a big controversy. But
okay.
like for the most part, unless you're like directly tracing it is going to be different, even if they're like trying to take the same image. Whereas AI like can directly like take like line for line, stroke by stroke, a piece of art.
So because with human there's always error and slight differences, it's kind of okay, but with AI it's just straight copy paste, make two
Well,
tweaks.
I think the other thing though is with human, there's also intent, right? Like
Yeah.
if two people, let's say Jake and I mean, neither one of us are artists, but let's say we both look at a like Sistine style painting. I can't think of the fucking artist right now because my brain is rotted. But and let's say he has a painting of an angel. Jake and I both look at that. and we want to create something similar to that. Even within that, with the same point of reference, the same everything, we're going to have different interpretations and takes on that versus the AI will literally match exactly that thing, is what Jake's saying.
Mm.
Like, so, and then there's also the whole intent. Like sometimes you'll have things where with human artists, they draw the exact same thing, but they never cross paths. Like, I didn't know John X over here drew this image. We both just liked the same thing and ended up with the same type of image.
What that I know what you're talking about because there was I think it was Seinfeld and somebody else had a very similar joke. And they neither knew exactly that they had done the joke, and they were just so similar that it was just insane to see two people arrive at the same thing without the knowledge of each other. Because I think the joke came out at like the exact same time too, or something crazy like that. So, I get your point on that. I see that.
Yeah.
I see that. Kyle?
I mean, I think AI at our current development, I think should stay out of anything that's like quick reaction or anything like that, like driving, certain surgeries and stuff like that. At our current level of AI development.
Listen, there are cars driving themselves already, Kyle.
And guess what? Tesla's removed it from their computers. It's caused several accidents in Europe. It needs to stay off the roads. It needs further development.
I just can't wait for Grandma to die in the car, and then she arrives at home. And like, oh, hi, Grandma.
What the fuck?
What do you mean, what the fuck? Self-driving cars,
That's a
right?
weird way to phrase that thought, Jay.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, think about it.
I can't wait for Grandma to die in the car.
And then
I know what you're
safe.
talking about. But I think at that point, our AI will have it developed where it will take her to the hospital immediately, rather
Not if
than home.
it's not connected to like a little doohickey to read your vital signs. I get what Jared's saying now, but God, what a way to phrase it.
Yes.
I remember the comedian who was talking about it. He's like, yeah, one of these days there's gonna be like an endemic of like dead people arriving at homes because they die in the middle of a car, and there's no way to track it. And I was like, that was a great joke.
Oh my God.
It's okay. I'm in the same vein as Kyle. Like, I think it needs to stay out of the medical field until we can like precision run it, right? Where like we give it a task on a bunch of cadavers and we're like, go do this thing. And it has to be so precise that there's no way that we have any errors whatsoever on it. That's the only thing that I can think of when it comes to like the medical field, besides all the other shit. Like, I don't know, I'd like it to stay out of politics. I'd like it to stay out of like news and shit like that, because there's no way that it can be right where it creates something so realistic. You're like, wow, Biden did punch that little girl in the face. And you're like, well, no, that's not how that works. I don't know.
See, I think the medical field is where I do want it. That's like the one field I want it to stay in right now.
The reason I say that is because like AI doesn't have the quick reaction a lot of experienced doctors have currently. Because every human body is kind of different, and if an AI cuts the same path on a same 1,000 people, it's going to cause severe damages on most of them because the path is not the same. You've got to adjust for every person. And David, going on the car, a lot of cars actually have the ability to sense whether you're holding onto the steering wheel per either your heartbeat or your heat given off by your hands.
Yeah, listen, I'm fine with the car thing. I agree with that. But we're already making major medical advancements with AI.
With AI assist. It's assisting the doctors, not actually doing it themselves.
Right,
Yeah,
but that is still using AI for medic. Like, no one is like trying to replace doctors with AI. I don't think that's
Correct.
like even being proposed by even like the most like hardcore AI people.
No. It's just about making them better so that they can use AI assist instead of cocaine and Adderall assist.
Like David said at the start of all this, like it's a tool. If you find ways to use it like effectively, then it's good. If you use it to do like shitty fake videos, then yeah, it's bad.
David,
it kind of reminds me of like when Photoshop was like fairly new. Like I remember like in the 2000s, we had like a similar like crisis in like the late 90s 2000s where people were photoshopping things and people were like, oh my god, you can't tell what's real and fake anymore because of this advanced technology. It's impossible to tell. And then within a few years, people were like, oh, you can tell this is photoshopped. I already feel that way about AI. I've never seen an AI image or video and been like, that's real. Like they all have like a quality that like immediately like, one, I can tell, and two, makes me uncomfortable.
the uncanny valley, yeah.
Yeah, so, which I know like other people like don't have that like immediate ability, but I think people will develop that like they did with Photoshop, where like they'll learn like these are the telltale signs of AI, and it'll become less of an issue.
David, also, you
Yeah.
need to refer to Adderall and cocaine as performance-enhancing drugs, all right? That's the correct medical term for those, just FYI.
Yeah, fuck off.
Just saying.
I have a personal beef with fucking druggy doctors, all right? So,
Do you have a bad run-in with House, or?
no, listen, at least he'd fucking do the surgery. My surgeon got so fucking high he had to have an emergency thing at the hospital, and then his son got arrested, and then he quit. But anyways, that's a whole nother thing. Listen, it's a whole thing. I have a thing in my neck still because the fucking surgeon who was supposed to cut it out was too busy getting drugs from Mexico and getting high.
Oh, nice. I think was it John Mulaney or something like that, where he told the joke about he had to go to the doctor to get like Xanax or some shit like that, and all he had to do was like, oh yeah, I like the way it makes me feel, and the doctor was like, all right, here's a prescription.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get nervous on planes.
Yeah, that's Mulaney.
Yeah. Jake, I'm a little curious though. How far have you gotten thus far into the rabbit hole of nobody's listening?
The last episode I listened to was episode 113.
Oh, so you're getting up there. You know what I think it's time for then?
The Human Resources Department requires that I be available once a month to discuss workplace disputes with my employees.
What have you found this far through your endeavors of collecting trash through Japan?
Well, my first note is Jared is wrong about football celebrations.
Why am I wrong about football celebrations?
Okay. And I will say, I only believe this on touchdowns. I'm with you on the, like, people, like, doing a big celebration for, like, a 10-yard gain is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But if you get a touchdown, celebrate however the fuck you want. You want to do the stupid line up the linemen like bowling pins and knock them down? Go for it. You want to do the Ocho Cinco, bringing fucking props to do your celebrations? Go for it. I love that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, make sports entertaining. I agree.
Yeah. Have fun. It's a fucking game.
Yeah.
It's not so serious.
Yeah. It's not, fucking surgery or rocket science. Like, I don't want my guy at NASA being like, ooh, solve this equation, fucking dancing on the control panel and maybe accidentally sending someone into orbit.
No.
But these guys are getting paid to play a game. I want to enjoy it. Fucking be a cocky asshole. I'm okay with it.
Absolutely.
I'm more in the favor of the big celebrations for touchdowns and shit like that, but they just celebrate like every little tiny thing, and that's what pisses me off. Is if it was down to just the touchdowns, the big game winning first down. Okay, I get it. You made a big fucking thing, but because they celebrate every little facet of every little thing that they do, it all becomes annoying to me.
Well, you're wrong. It's okay.
I'm okay to be wrong at this point in time. I'm fine with
it.
Oh,
Okay.
Jared.
My next note, which is connected, because I've gotten to a portion where we're talking about the NFL a lot. Jared getting excited about preseason is weird. Or sorry, fired up, not excited. So you were actually getting kind of upset about preseason, but you were spending a lot of time and energy on fucking preseason games. Like, Jared, these literally don't matter. Why are you like going on a 20-minute rant about how bad the preseason is? It's the fucking preseason.
You could tell where I started to take my co-hosting job in the NFL podcast a little serious, and that's about the time when it started, where I was like, because I think that
No.
Yeah?
This was before you even met Eric or Mark.
This was before I met them?
Yes. This was the NFL season before all of that.
Okay.
You were like watching the preseason and getting super like fired up and talked about it like constantly. Then the regular season started and you barely talked about football until like the playoffs. Like, what the fuck are you doing, Jared?
I don't know. I get well, like, because Mark is talking about how he doesn't want to do like the NFL podcast during the off season, and I'm like, no, I get it because it's pure rumors. But internally, I'm like, I want to gossip like a motherfucker right now. Okay, I'm seeing dumb shit that like an AI generated photo, probably completely fake, not that big of a deal, but I want to fucking talk about it, right? I don't know. It gets me all excited, and then we get into it. I'm like, I could fucking care less, and then playoffs come, then I get excited. So. I didn't know that this.
Jared.
See, and this is how bad my memory is with my episodes. I could have thought, yeah. So I could have swore I was already with
the reason
Derek
why Eric requested you for his NFL podcast.
Mark, but yeah.
Well, that's Mark.
Probably heard the fervor.
Yeah, he listened to the song. He's passionate about it.
Yeah, fair. You are literally the only person I've ever heard talk passionately about a preseason game.
I got excited that day. I don't know. It was just in my blood.
And probably
Clearly.
won't hear anybody talk that passionately about it ever again.
Fair. It's preseason.
Exactly. Oh, Jared.
I get it.
I love you, buddy, but it's preseason.
Yeah, I get it, David.
I'm glad you brought up your not remembering things about your show, because I also have the note, oh, Jared has always known the least about his show. Because I've noticed, like, especially, like, the further you get, the more your guests are correcting you about your own show. They'll be like, yeah, I think this is, like, episode 106. And they're like, no, this is 109, Jared. You're like, oh, okay, I don't know.
Well, fuck it. Ask me what episode this is. I don't know. I'll know it as soon as I upload it, okay? I just hit record. Every Saturday it comes out, and I've not missed a Saturday yet. Okay? That is it. That is my knowledge.
Or it'll be like telling a story, and you'll be like, I don't know, I might have told this on the podcast before, and your guest will be like, yeah, you did like 10 episodes ago. Like, and I feel like I would be the same way on my show before doing that. Like, I think Eric has done that to me a few times. But it is always funny that you always know way less about your show than, like, every one of your guests. Like, consistently.
Well, dude, let's fucking look at it right now, right? Like, I am... Okay, where are we at? Episodes... We are 230... This is episode 214. 213 conversations I've had, and you expect me to remember every conversation? Because most of these podcasts are 90 minutes or more. Do you really expect me to remember my fucking conversations?
No,
Absolutely not. But that's
Just
part of
like-
what makes it so funny that you keep bringing people on who, like, listen to the podcast, so that because they've listened to it as a podcast instead of just a conversation they had, like, are so much more aware of that stuff than you are.
And I love it when it's the one-off guest where they correct me on something, and it's just like it's just a one-off person. They correct me on my thing, and cool,
Yes.
great, all right, I'll trust you more so.
Yeah, those are the best when it's not even like Eric or something. It's like some random person you got off of Reddit, and they're like, "Oh no, I listened to a bunch of episodes before it came on." Like,
I almost kind of wish you hadn't, but all right.
And also just the number of times your guest comes on with notes and you're amazed by it.
I don't know, man. Just I just,
preparation.
dude, if you could be a fly in the wall when I'm like, fuck it, back in the day when I'd be like, fuck it, let's record the episode. I just load up everything and I just hit the record button, play the intro, and then I just go. Like that's it. That's all there is. About 2 brain cells are working at that moment in time, and half of them are not even there. So could have been playing Call of Duty or Insurgency Sandstorm or Tarkov. You know. Oh, I think this is pre-Tarkov too.
Yeah.
What episode did you listen up to?
No. You've been talking about Tarkov for a while.
Okay.
You don't like go super into detail on Tarkov yet in any that I've listened to, but you do like bring it up a lot as like a example for that type of game. It's become your like go-to example for like a game with both like PvP and PvE.
Wait till I started going hard with David in the group. You'll realize where I became fully vested in Let's Play Deathray.
And then wait till you get to the episodes with us where you get to realize that he stopped playing with us and doesn't love me anymore. He started out as my son and now he's left me. So,
Daddy, I'm 18. I can do whatever I want.
It doesn't mean you're not a bitch. Anyways,
I knew saying that David would chime in with that. I knew it. 100% knew it. As soon as I
yeah,
started
because
saying
you left
it.
me.
I didn't
It's
leave
fine.
you.
I've been left by lots of people throughout my life. It's fine.
We had a divorce.
I don't have abandonment issues. It's fine.
We had a divorce. All right. What am I supposed to do? I can't come back to you.
Metaphor's getting weird.
Yeah, I know it is.
This metaphor is getting
on.
weird.
Yeah, let's get move on.
Moving on.
Is Jared your son or your husband? Because you try to be
he's-
both. Those two
he's
things
my-
don't go together.
He's my son, not anything else. All right.
Okay.
Just-
Odd and awkward notes aside, what else did you find there, Jake?
So many. This one's just a question. Jared didn't know about internet porn until the military?
Not really,
What?
no. Not really, no. I mean, I knew you could find like hot, like lingerie photos online, but I didn't know that you could watch a video online.
What?
Yeah.
Your poor corrupted soul.
Dude. Like back in the day, like I realized
Jared was a sticky magazine kid.
there was always. I remember one time. I remember that I had to stop stealing the Victoria's Secret magazines. When my mom was like, "Where the fuck did that?" My mom would be like, "Where did my Victoria's Secret magazine go?" And I'm like, "Did you check the magazine thing where you throw them all away?" She's like, "Yeah, I checked there. It's not there. I didn't throw it away." I was like, "Huh, that's weird, Mom." And I was like, "I gotta stop stealing this shit," because I thought when it was in the magazine bin, it was done. It went out to the recycling. It was up for grabs.
Yeah, you were just recycling it.
Exactly.
Jared might be the only person I know who actually used the Victoria's Secret catalog for that.
I wasn't
Nope.
shopping.
No, oh god.
Wasn't shopping.
But my family didn't have a computer that wasn't kept in my parents' room until I was in high school. So,
Oh, that's fair.
so I know exactly what Jared's talking about.
Well, I had a computer that was upstairs. It was like tucked away in a nook and cranny. Like you could see if somebody was coming, you could quickly close out. But like my biggest find on the internet was like, you can watch Dragon Ball GT on the internet. Like that was my big find back in the day, right?
Yeah, see, that's the part that's weird to me because
Fucking
like
nerds.
even like as like a kid, like I knew like there's porn on the internet. Like that's what the internet exists for.
Yeah, I mean there was a song all about it. The internet is for porn.
Well, I just thought it came on like VHS drives and magazines your dad kept above the cupboards, right? Like that's what I thought. That's how I thought you got it. I didn't know that you could easily access it, where you could find Dragon Ball Z and Newgrounds and Flash gets and shit.
I'm still baffled by that because the amount of times I accidentally, like, don't get me wrong, there's plenty of times purposely,
Oh,
but
yeah.
the amount of times I accidentally downloaded porn trying to torrent shows and stuff, like, bro.
I No, just like music. That's all I did on LimeWire. I heard about people like, oh yeah, I tried to download this one movie and I got a virus. And it was like, nope, I'll stick to what I know is. And then I just stopped downloading music and I just had a guy make me CDs. Like,
What?
yeah, I barely had the internet too. Like by the time I had the internet, I
What?
was having sex. So I didn't really need porn. And then not until I got into the military where people were like, hey, did you check out that new video? I was like, what? Porn on the internet? And they're like, yeah, Jared. I was like, oh, I thought
You
it was
never
just,
wait.
like Dragon Ball Z and
So that
stuff.
means you never had the like teenage experience of using dial-up and like waiting till your parents were gone so you could
No.
use the fucking dial-up and make sure no one would pick up the phone and interrupt it to download an episode of like Dragon Ball Z where the title is Goku pounds Frieza and then it just ends up being this fucking hardcore porn
No.
that you're confused about but also kind of into.
No. By the time I had readily available internet access to watch porn, I was getting laid and playing hockey. Like it wasn't a big deal to me. Like
Yeah,
by the
not having access to it makes sense to me. Not
Yeah.
knowing it existed is what makes it weird.
yeah,
Right?
I never had a need to go down those weird rabbit holes. I was either too busy playing hockey, having sex, going out with my buddies, doing things. It just when I would have time for the internet, I knew where to find the Dragon Ball Z GT episodes online, and I would just go there. Or
But
you
Jared,
know,
I'm talking about when I was like 9.
no, dude, I didn't have the internet until I was like 16.
Holy fucking shit.
Yeah. Why is that mind blowing?
Because David grew up on the internet.
David was poor and still had the internet.
I never had a need for it. I was too busy getting beat up and footballs and outside.
Yeah, I was probably the people beating you up.
Mm-hmm. It's not a problem. It's okay.
I did beat up a lot of bullies in my day.
Oh no, I was the bitch that got beat up. So
Oh,
I was very non-confrontational. I didn't like confrontations.
you were the one who needed me. You were my brother.
Well, in the hockey rink, it was a little different. I was very aggressive, but outside, I was just, yeah, I needed you, Papa.
Yeah.
Save me.
All of my fights were because of my brother.
All right, Jake. What else did you find?
Oh, there's no way we're getting through all of them today, Jared.
No,
I have
okay,
so many.
Okay. Well, no, that's all right. That's all right. We can always just help.
Advice.
Kyle, did you hear that sound effect?
I mean, Jared, weren't you already getting advice from Jake?
Mm-hmm. But he said there's no way we're getting through
this.
it, so we're gonna table it. We're gonna table it.
I thought we already got through this part.
No, this is the Reddit questions, Kyle.
You've been on the show how many times now? You know-
Kyle, not a guest who knows more about the show than you.
No, not at all. Kyle's like the first time I went on File and Entertainment and bullshitted my way through the first episode. Yeah, go back to that first time I was on File and Entertainment and just knowing what you know now. Yeah, it's a totally different episode. Jared's just bullshitting his way through the entire time. All right, well, David will be happy that we only have one Ask Woman Reddit question this week because he requested it, so I had to go out and find some other ones.
That's not what I said.
Women of Reddit, what's a small but meaningful gesture that someone has done for you that made your day or week better? So we're going to open that up to women of Reddit. What's a small but meaningful gesture that someone has done for you that made your day or week better? And we'll start with Kyle. Shaking his head, huffing.
Yeah, I got nothing for you. It's a normal week. I don't really care.
Wow.
It's great, Kyle. It's great.
I know. I'm here for you, bud. You know how you like to bullshit your way through? I just like to drop the mic. Fuck it. I'm done. I'm leaving.
Yeah, but not because you said anything impactful. You just like to break shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just keep your webcam on. That's all. I'm not rearranging the screen if you leave. David, what's
All right,
a small
turning it
but meaningful
off.
gesture that someone has done for you that's made your day or week better?
Oh, dude, there's so many. I mean, like I'm married to an incredibly thoughtful and wonderful person. Like, and that's not just like the sappy husband I still want to get laid answer. Like, legitimately, my wife is a super caring person. She does shit for people all the time. So like I could pick any thousands of things that she does for me, but uh, I think to step outside of the whole my wife's amazing answers because they're cop outs. Um, I have I have an employee that works for me, and there are days where like the stress is just too high. I very clearly didn't sleep well, and she has grown to learn what my I'm too tired for your guys' bullshit face looks like. And oftentimes she'll run and like get herself lunch, and when she does, she comes back with a coffee for me,
Aww.
which helps me function and get through the day. And it's completely unprompted and unrequired. It's just she's that type of person. So
Better answer. David, you no longer get to use the wife answer. I appreciate that you didn't do that. That is
yeah, you're
a
welcome.
small but meaningful gesture that someone's done for me that's made my day or week better. You didn't use the cop out wife answer. I appreciate that about you, David.
Yep.
Jake, what about you, brother?
Everyone who voted to let me watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah, you motherfuckers. It's way too early in the year for that. I'm not ready for my rewatch of it yet. Fuck.
Yeah, hold on, Jared. Before you move on, I got something for you.
Sure.
I did something very nice for someone.
That's not the question.
No.
Well, no, I gotta
want him to have
it's
this one. I want him to have
It's
this
kind
one.
of it goes in the opposite direction, but so I let my truck to my brother this week to let him move
Ooh.
furniture and help him move.
Is your truck
I was
okay?
I worked through the day and I led it through that day. I got it back. My bed cover was destroyed. Well, broken in a certain fashion. I had to fix it. My car smelled, and he left his lunch in it.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna be like he filled it with gas. And...
Oh, he didn't do that either.
No, this is not a feel-good story. This is Kyle.
No, this.
I did something meaningful for someone,
And then he got fucked.
Yeah.
I will say though,
Mm-hmm.
was it this week? No, last week. Kyle does nice things for people all the fucking time. Cause like I was at work and he went out into town and fucking went to like 3 different stores finding the burn stuff to take care of my son when he put his hand on our fucking pellet stove and burned himself. So Kyle does nice shit for people all the time. And then he just sits in his room so no one can do shit for him.
I know somebody like that.
It's the same way it's the same way my mom feels about it. I don't like borrowing money from people, but I have no problem lending the money out. Or even the time or something. I have no problem with it. I hate having to ask people for that stuff though. So I just do it myself and struggle through it.
Kyle, you should learn to ask questions, buddy. You should.
It's okay to
learn
ask
do
for
that,
help.
Yeah. It made my life easier, a lot easier 5 years ago when I learned that it's okay to ask for help. Like seriously. Like it was freeing to ask a therapist for help and then to work through a lot of that shit. It's helpful. I would encourage you to do so, brother.
I mean,
Yeah. No, thanks.
it's also like you live with people who will help you
I
do
know.
shit.
I know, but it's not. It's in my mindset. It's not the first thing to pop into my mind. Usually the first before that, it's okay. Just fucking get it done, get it over with, move on with the rest of your life.
Well,
That
speaking
rather
about
than
moving on,
ask for help.
Uh-huh.
what
Okay.
is something that is really popular right now, but in 5 years will probably be really ridiculous? What's something that's popular? David raised his hand. Go ahead, David.
Taylor Swift and Travis Kelsey.
I was gonna say. I was gonna say their dance moves will probably be what's weird and ridiculous.
I mean, am I wrong?
You're not wrong.
No one's gonna give a shit about that relationship in like a year.
I think they're going to be a power couple for a minute.
And no one will care. And then she'll break up with him and write a song, and then we'll care again for a little while.
But you would think after how many times she's been broken up with that she wouldn't realize that she's the problem. You know?
No.
Listen, half of it's a
No.
publicity stunt.
Probably.
At this point, it's probably just a publicity, fucking a stunt.
But also, like, that's just kind of how relationships go. Like,
Yeah.
you're in relationships and they end. Hers are just, on a public stage.
Yeah. I don't disagree. I just don't think we're gonna care about their relationship in a year.
Yeah, for sure.
True. Okay. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
No reason I say like her dance moves and stuff. It's the same way I think it's like Lady Gaga's meat dress.
That still lives rent free. Still lives
fucking
rent-free in my mind.
ridiculous.
I don't think of any of her like dance moves as being on that level of that's
Oh yeah, I know.
Weird.
That's the extreme of what I can think of at this moment. Of something that's just going to be forgotten and moved on, and we thought it was ridiculous. We got hyped up about it as much as we do now.
Yeah, but this feels like the kind of like the kind of thing you forget. The meat dress is the kind of thing that like I think people will still be talking about that 10 years from now as like just a weird fucking thing.
Yeah. You know why? Because it's a weird fucking thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Jake, what do you got for us?
I have no idea.
All right.
I'm gonna pull a Kyle here, and I have no idea what will or won't be relevant. I have long given up on trying to understand what is like what sticks within the public consciousness, because so many things that to me were nothing are still so talked about, and so many things that I think of as like, oh, obviously this will be like a thing that'll never be forgotten, is just like completely wiped from the public conscience. So
Yeah, for such a pop culture guy, Jake really isn't, plugged into the zeitgeist of modern culture.
Yeah,
well, no,
he's
I just
socialistic.
acknowledge that I can't predict the future. And I think
But-
people try to and are frequently wrong.
Exactly, Jake. That's part of pop culture. Predict the future, buddy.
But when you are right, right.
Yeah, they don't see
Yeah.
they don't see the hundreds of wrongs that you had. They just see that one crazy right thing that you had. So I feel that. One of my answer is universes, right? Like how the Marvel universe built itself, how everything just kept building upon itself. I think a lot of people are going to see that as absolutely ridiculous in the next couple of years. Kind of for the same reason, like way back, like 5 years ago, like these 2.5 hour, 3 hour movies that people thought were fucking crazy. That's a lot of what movies are now. They're these big 2.5, 3 hour epics, right? That are being told. And so I think in the next 5 years, the whole universe saga is just going to be complete. Because I mean, look at a lot of the sagas that are trying to come out now that people are trying to build universes around, and they're just not doing so hot. Whereas if it was released a couple years ago when the sagas were hot, yeah, all day, every day.
I don't know if I agree with that one. I think part of the thing is people are trying to copy the whole saga thing because it works so well for Marvel, but it works for Marvel because that's how comic books work. That's how they are. It doesn't make sense to make this sort of extended universe approach to all the things that they're trying to, and I think that's the reason they're failing. Is they're trying to copy a formula that doesn't apply to the art that they're creating.
Well, that's the inverse. Is what do you think is, or well, what is something that's really popular right now but will be ridiculous in 5 years? What's something that you think is happening right now that in the next 5 years people are gonna be like, why the fuck did we do that? Like Jenko jeans. Thank you for getting that callback, Jake.
Absolutely.
Who doesn't get Jenko? I mean, it's the 90s, brother.
Jenko was the shit. I used to have a pair of those.
I had a lot of them. And then I had the emo goth version, the trip pants.
A lot of rings, a lot of chain.
Uh-huh.
Black with
mine
purple
actually
stitch.
I actually attended a hip hop concert, and they were freestyling and using like stuff that they saw in the crowd, and he mentioned them because a pair that I had like handcuffs, but it was only one part of it. So yeah, it was pretty funny. But
Not sure of anything that's going on right now that you guys think would be ridiculous in the next couple of years.
I'm trying to think of a different answer.
That's fair.
I don't know. Like the fads, like see the thing is that like fads come in waves, right? It's not 5 years from now. Fads sputter out in God like 30 seconds now. Like for a week it's hot and then it's just gone. Like fidget spinners, right? It was there for like a half a year and then just poof, gone like a fart in the wind.
Yeah, stuff definitely moves faster now, which kind of makes like the 5 year like mark so hard to like think of, because like I struggle to think of things that will be relevant in like a year. But also because that stuff is all goes so fast, I don't really pay attention to any of it because I live in Wyoming, so 90% of the time it's like, oh, there's this trend that because they go so fast, like, yeah, that never saw it because I live in Wyoming.
Right.
And it was only relevant for 2 months.
or it arrives in Wyoming and it's already died off on the coast.
Well, isn't that like what
I
it's
mean,
like in Japan, where like our trends will hit them like 5 years late or some shit like that?
sometimes more than like 5 years.
Yeah.
Which to be fair, like it's the same way with us. Like stuff from Japan that's like years old will like blow up here. But Japan's the same way, where it'll be like this like random artist from like the 90s will suddenly like blow up in Japan.
Oh yeah, well I mean look at even like, because you guys have mentioned it, Dragon Ball. Like Dragon Ball Z and all of that, it came to us way after Japan had it. And it really blew up with like the Adult Swim stuff and everything. And that was, correct me if I'm wrong here, Jake, because you know more about this, but that was almost a decade after he started that stuff in Japan, wasn't it?
After Dragon Ball, I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's why Dragon Ball Z is like the go-to here, because it like Dragon Ball Z like became big in America like before Dragon Ball. Because it was like a more modern thing.
Yeah.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I because one of the questions came from Ask Reddit. It's like, what's really popular now, but will be ridiculous in 5 years? And then somebody on r/ask asked the inverse of that. I was like, oh, that'd be a good juxtaposition if we could answer both questions. But yeah, not so much. Got 2 more questions here. What hobbies that people do screams fucking grammar? What are some hobbies that people do that scream, I'm a rich person? What's a hobby that somebody does that screams, I'm rich?
I mean, yachting, obviously.
Stop using cop-out answers, David.
Lambo and Porsche collections.
Right, yeah, fuck.
Car collection, yeah.
No, not car collections, because I know quite a few people that are not rich or in any definition of rich that does have a car collection. It's more of Lambo and Porsche collections.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Because-
very specific ones.
Yeah, because I've seen people that have like car collections of Ford Mustang, Chevy, yeah, the Cobras, anything like that. They're not rich. They're literally just collecting them. It's a collection rather than like a thing that screams rich.
There's a guy that
Yeah,
used to live by that had a collection of cars in a random warehouse in the middle of the suburb. It was kind of funny. Sorry, David.
I would say like specifically like artifact collectors, like the people who collect anything that would be considered like
British.
a like not even necessarily the like museum quality stuff, but like if you have time to like go around the country to find these pieces of other civilizations and um what's the word cultures, and fucking put them in a private museum in your home,
Mm-hmm.
you have some fucking money. You have fuck you money.
I hate you because I was gonna say the Hobby Lobby guy.
Oh.
I hate card pullers. People that pull cards. I hate those people. Because you got to have a lot of fucking money to constantly pull decks, especially like when they get this is an ultra rare deck from Gen 1 original built sealed in foil. That's somebody who I see as got a good bit amount of money. That screams rich to me.
No.
David, what? Did you do card pulling?
So anyways, what's the
No,
next
no, no,
thing?
no, 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 no. We don't get to do that. You did card pulling for a little while?
Not specifically what you're talking about, but dude, first of all, I'm a magic nerd. All right, like I have
Cardboard
frequently
crack.
pulled pieces of cardboard that are like $400,
Well, I mean, I get it, but
and then you hang on to them and stuff like that.
But I mean, like your channel is like your YouTube channel is dedicated to pulling Magic the Gathering cards, right?
No,
Like,
no. What? Why would I do
No.
that? That's dumb as fuck.
yeah, that's what I meant. Those are the people with the
Oh,
rich
you're
money.
talking about the people who broadcast it.
Yeah, the people who broadcast it. Like, I know a lot of these people. They're trying to make it big so they can pull more cards. And it
They
doesn't
open
make
less packs in a night than I do, and I don't make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, when it's time to open cards, you open a lot of cards. Like this last new set that came out, I bought fucking 2 of the commander decks and a whole fucking box and a pre-release kit.
Yeah, and David's not like the top end of people that we know of that. Like
No,
he's
not
pretty
even
low on the
close.
totem pole of like
Yeah.
how much he spends. And a lot of those people are very poor who spend more than David.
Yeah. I make more money than the people who are like, I'll blow twice as what you did. Fucking how? Jesus,
Yeah,
must be nice not to have bills.
It's always wild to see like a 16-year-old who works like part-time just be like, yeah, I spent my entire month's paycheck on Magic stuff.
Those
That's-
ones I at least get. Those
Yeah,
ones I at least get because like they're kids, they have fuck you money. Like it doesn't have a value to them. It's the people who have fucking families who I know are like scraping to get by, who are spending like all of the money I'm spending on it is disposable. Like I'm not gonna miss it. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
my kids are not gonna go hungry because I bought a box.
Yeah.
That's
Some of
fair,
these
yeah.
people do, and it's disturbing, and I don't like it. Anyway, sorry, rant over.
No, that's okay. I appreciate that. I like that. I was not aware that the people that pull the Magic. I thought they had that kind of money to where they could buy, like a fuck ton of packs and then just pull a bunch of them. Because a lot of these channels will do like daily or weekly episodes where they're pulling a fuck ton of cards, and I was wondering where do they get the money for it.
So, sorry. when it's a channel like that, a lot of the time, some of them get like sponsorships from like local card shops and stuff. So they'll actually be given product from time to time. Also, some of these people think of these are the dumb ones. Some of these people think of this as an investment. Like they'll buy this stuff because it has a secondary value, even though that secondary value can fucking tank because Wizards at any time can just decide to reprint shit. Um, they look at it as an investment. So they spend $150 and then they open these cards. And if they get their monies back or more, then they feel like they made money. But by the time they go to sell them, they may drop in value so much that it it's a more volatile market than the fucking stock exchange, which is saying something.
So instead of holding on to a $500 card, they hope it appreciates in value. Where usually Magic drops a release and all of a sudden it's down to like $200.
Well, yeah, because it used to be, and to their credit, it used to be a viable thing you could do. Whereas if you got a hold of these things that were format shaping and shaped the game that they wouldn't reprint, then they would appreciate in value. Like the shit that we all played with in fucking the 90s in high school and middle school and scraped up off the fucking uh cards on the fucking asphalt is the word I was looking for, and like damaged everything and threw them around and nobody cared. Some of those cards are worth tens of thousands of dollars now.
Yeah, because they're limited.
Yeah, because they haven't reprinted them and stuff like that. So for a lot of the older crowd who kept some of the older stuff, it really was an investment. They ended up spending, $200-300 on Magic cards in a set and ended up making, 15-20 grand off of that $200-300. But because of the way Wizards is doing things now, that's not a viable approach.
Yeah.
They're trying to crowd please at the same time as withhold some of its
Well, they're also
rarities.
trying.
They're
They're
trying to
also
make money.
trying to reduce the cost of some things that, because it is a game, so they have to balance both the secondary market and the game. And so when you have a format that, hey, look, this guy has a massive advantage because he played and kept all of his stuff since the 90s. I wasn't born until 2005. I can't compete with that. And when you have giant tournaments for these formats where people are playing for not only prestige but also money, you have to make this stuff more accessible. Because like there's a format called Legacy where at one point the entry level decks for this format were close to 15 grand in value.
Fucking wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now that specifically playing that format, that's a hobby that streams rich people to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was close, Jake. I was close.
And I do think there is like a type of what you're describing that is that. Like for instance, like the people that are opening like original like Gen 1 Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
Like yes, that's gonna be like thousands of dollars to get your hands on a box of that.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that's not what most of the people like on Twitch and YouTube are doing. They're usually like opening like recent sets that are like at most like a couple $100.
Yep.
See, I love that you say like at most a couple hundred. Like $100 to me is game changing, right? Like, but
Yeah.
I'm a frugal motherfucker, right? That's just me. So I find that interesting where it's like, oh yeah, a couple $100. It's like, yeah, I mean I have a couple $100 every check to be discretionary, but at the same time, to me, $50 is a fuck ton, right? I know it's not really in today's day and age, but like to me that is a lot. So
Nah, listen, I make good money, but if you give me a free $50, like that's awesome. Like that changes, that opens up. I can drive around a little more because that's a whole fucking tank of gas.
that's a week's worth of fun for Jared right there.
Right?
Yeah.
And yeah, but like even compare that to like buying video games. That like because that for a lot of people it's the same mentality of like this is a thing that I do for fun. This is my entertainment budget.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense.
And then you have people like Kyle who buy 8,000 video games and play 3 of them
Do you want to
in
know
a
something,
week.
Dave?
In a week.
David, I'm also very ecstatic when I find a $30 game that entertains me for almost 2 months.
I know, buddy. I know.
I'm fucking ecstatic. I only spent $30 and I entertained myself for this long. Yeah. It's time to go spend it on cards.
Dude, I love that the games on sale that you can buy. Like, that shit's fun, especially when you buy a game for like $20 and then you get like a shit ton of use out of it. Like, one of my favorite games, Fallout 4. I'd love to go back to it and talk about it, but the price per hour, or the cost per hour that I paid to make that game, like, it's in the hundreds of cents by now, right? Like, same thing with Tarkov, right? The amount I paid for the game, and for it still to be fun almost 2,000 hours later, that's fucking insane to me, right?
I love Jake's face right now.
What?
Hey, Jake, how are you doing in video games, buddy?
Haven't touched them in 2 weeks.
I miss gaming with Jake. These stupid bits are taking away from my fucking fun.
Good.
No, fuck you. This is why I want to punish you. This is why I want you to have nothing good. You have affected me now, all right? And I am all I care about. So fuck you.
Is there a way, David, for those of us who are going to hear this next Saturday, is there a way that we can help achieve more misery for you by helping Jake?
More misery for me?
Yeah.
No, it's already been done. They picked fucking Final Fantasy 14, so he has to play that all the way through before he can play another game.
Yeah.
And I can't play. I don't want to play Pal World without Jake.
It's okay, David.
I don't want to. Look, there's some things that I just like. I'm this way. Like I have more fun on certain things with certain people. It's the same reason why, like, even if they hadn't have done the whole like Blizzard, Activision shitty stuff, if you'd have just been like, I'm done with Overwatch, I probably never would have touched it, even though I enjoyed that game. A huge part of why I enjoyed it was playing with you. Like, I'm very much so, I'll find other stuff to play, but I 100%, like, I'll probably never touch Enter the Gungeon unless you and I sit down and play it. Even though it's a super fun game and I enjoy it. There's just some things that I enjoy more with certain people.
Yeah, the people you play with definitely don't make the game.
Yeah.
You social gamers are so fucking weird to me. Do not understand this mentality at all.
It's okay, Jake. You'll get there eventually, bud. I promise you I'm not stupid, I'm just panicking.
Can I be honest with y'all? I thought they were all robots at the zoo. I've never seen one in the wilds. So as far as I was concerned, they don't actually exist, but apparently they do, so that blows my mind.